Hey now, everybody. Welcome back. Brand new Take Aim podcast, episode 231. As always, Brandon Hammond's your host, and excited to have Matt Tagget on from REK Broadheads, makers of American-made premium broadheads. The REK Broadhead is super beefy, super tank-like looking, and just, it's super strong. But Matt gives us all the details about the broadhead and the new technology in that head. Matt and the REK crew will be at the Michigan Deer and Turkey Show this coming week, or I should say next weekend, March 13th, 14th, and 15th. So if you're anywhere near Lansing and you want to head up to the Deer and Turkey Show, make sure to stop by and see Matt and the crew at REK Broadheads. But hope you guys enjoy the show. All right, guys, we are live, and welcome back to a brand new Take Aim podcast. And this week, I have Matt Tagget on from REK Broadheads. Matt, what's happening?
How's it going, man? I appreciate you inviting me to be on.
Not a problem, man. Super excited to have you, and always excited to talk about new products that come to the bow hunting world, and let alone one from my home state that I think is going to be a real big hit. But super excited to promote anybody from Michigan, and looks like you have an awesome product that's out, so I definitely wanted to talk to you about it. But give us a little background, Matt, on kind of just where REK is based out of. I believe I know, but kind of tell me how you guys got to from where you are, from concept to the name, and like just kind of the beginning, the roots of REK Broadheads, I guess.
So we're a new company here. We're based in the mid-Michigan area, more specifically out of the Frankenmuth area. And we've been working on this broadhead for about 2.5 years now. And my dad's got a lot of experience in tool and die, and I've done some work in the industry in the past, kind of marketing and doing films and stuff like that. So it's kind of the perfect combination to start an outdoor company. And about 2.5 years ago, we came up with this idea. We had shot a ton of broadheads. We've shot, fixed expandables. We've shot a lot of them. And we noticed a few flaws in designs of some of the expandables that were out there, and we wanted to come up with our own design, something that we could trust and something that we felt we could make a little better. And we went to the drawing table there 2.5 years ago and just started piecing something together and come up with a couple prototypes and used those for a little while, and wasn't exactly what we wanted, so we went back to the drawing board and made some changes and come up with what we've got now. I mean, we made a few other changes along the way, but so we're a brand new company. We just launched about 3 weeks ago, and right now we're solely selling our broadheads off the internet at our website, and we are taking steps towards retail here in the near future, but we're new, and we're just kind of figuring the whole deal out as we go.
So yeah, you guys are definitely a direct-to-consumer base at the moment, but backing up a little bit, Matt, I know you said that you had shot a bunch of broadheads and kind of maybe just experimental-wise or went through like field testing, we'll call it, but what kind of made you guys believe like something that you saw in that field of mechanical heads that you guys could do better and give bow hunters something different?
I guess we found two or come across two flaws that we didn't really care for. And, there's a lot of good expandables on the market. I'm not bashing all of them. There's a few designs we didn't care for a whole lot. And it seemed like the most common, flaw with the various expandables we used in the past were that they just didn't really hold up super well to bone. And they weren't exactly reusable if you did hit bone. I'm not saying ours is every time either, but we thought that we could build a broadhead that was a little beefier and had a little more strength to it, and you could, shoot a couple of deer with and reuse it and not have to replace your broadhead every single time. So we went with some thicker blades, a bigger tip, and things like that. And then I guess the other issue we tried to solve was the retention system. It seemed like a lot of the expandable broadheads on the market were still using O-rings or plastic clips and stuff of that nature. So we have kind of a neat design. It's our spring lock retention system, and it actually allows our blades to accidentally, in like a spot and stalk situation, or you're knocking an arrow in the dark or something like that, our blades will open slightly, about 50%, and then snap right back closed if you were to accidentally snag it on something. So that was kind of the other thing we tried to solve, was having a clip that was adaptable to the elements and also would not be accidentally set off as easy as some of the other heads.
Sure. So that, I assume, Matt, that you have to get to that 50% point, like, is there a certain poundage or pressure that it takes to get to that point? Then could it snap it all the way open, or have you just completely eliminated that?
No, and with shooting mechanicals, you always want to be a little careful when you're jamming them in your quiver or in brushy areas and stuff like that, because ours will set off also like some of the others, but it a lot of the other expandables, it seems like if you even just bumped it on something, it was setting it off and there was no give or no play there, and we've kind of adjusted that to where off the back of our blades you can snag it on something and open it about 50% and it'll come back. From the front, it does take 4 pounds of force to open, and it actually has to hit something from the front to deploy. I mean, like I said, you can deploy it from the back if you pry on it hard enough. It will come loose. It's designed to open, but it really to operate efficiently, it's got to hit a hide or open from the forward momentum.
Okay. Now, Matt, just because I haven't actually had one in my hand, so forgive me if these are kind of dumb questions to you, but will one side of the blades in that retention system snap back, or does it do it both at the same time?
Nope, it's independent. So we have our spring lock retention clip. It's a little clip that goes in between the tip of the arrow, or the tip of the broadhead, and the ferrule, and it sits in there, and it's got two little arms, or two little wings, I guess you could call them, one for each side of the blade. So they're independent on one will stay fixed if you snag the other one, and one will move on its own, I guess. Sure.
Yeah, one thing you definitely say about everything I've seen on your broadheads, from your guys' website to the Instagram photos, you guys have built definitely a meatier, more tank-like version of a broadhead compared to a lot of the competitors. And I know you mentioned that earlier in the podcast, Matt, that one of the issues you talked about was going through bone. So was that part of the design process, was to actually just beef up the steel or the diameter or just the size of the head?
It was. We made our first few prototypes, and we were kind of looking at how we could, I guess, make the broadhead look more cool, because it was just a beefy, stocky looking broadhead, and it didn't have the cool cutouts and grinds and different designs that some of the other broadheads have out, and it just looked kind of tough and not as cool. It was just kind of a utility look, I guess. And we got looking at different strength tests and everything, and realized that if we start pulling material off this thing, we're just going to lose strength. And we were at our weight that we needed, and we were like, why don't we just leave it the way it is, because it's got more material and it's stronger, and that's what we were going for. So we just didn't want to take a whole lot off it to just make it look flashy.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, part of the uniqueness of your head is that it does look like that, actually, and that it looks so tough and very industrial looking, if I may say. But I mean, it looks like I can literally shoot it through a cinder block wall. I mean, it looks as tough as nails. So that's to me is unique, and kind of gives a guy a lot of confidence just for looking at it that it's going to be that tough.
Yeah, definitely. It's I mean, we've put it through a lot of different tests, and I mean, we've shot a lot of deer with these things over the past 2 years, and we've had a few shoulder shots, and we've hit bone and stuff like that, and we've been very impressed with the way they've held up, and that's why we went with a thicker blade too. We went with a 39,000 thick blade, which I know there's a few other mechanicals out there that have blades that thick, but it seems like a lot of them are thinner than that. And we just kind of wanted a premium grade material for the blades that would also not bend or snap off, and kind of the whole package was just to beef everything up was our goal.
No, that's a really thick blade. I don't know if there is any. I mean, you probably know, but offhand, I can't think of anybody that has blades that thick. But I mean, it was just recently that we got past 30 and then 32. So to go 39 is a really super stout blade. and that's pretty impressive, no doubt. I mean, I would assume at that size, they're not coming out the other side all bent and tore up, so to speak, because I've seen that quite a few times on some of the heads I've shot in the past.
No, yeah, that's completely what we were going for. If you hit bone or you pass through and you hit a tree or a stick or a rock or something like that, you're going to nick the blades up. That's that's going to happen. But we wanted something that most of the time would be reusable. And a lot of people, we've been getting some feedback. They see the broadhead on the internet and they don't really realize how thick the blades are, and they see all the cutouts in it. And a lot of people want like a solid blade. But there's a lot of strength to these things, and that's why we were able to get away with more cutouts. And
just consumer-wise, let everybody know how. I know it's direct to consumer, but you order them. They come in a 3-pack. Is there a practice tip, or what do you get with that order?
So they come in a 3-pack. That's correct. And right now we only have a 100-grain option available, and it comes with 3 extra of the retention locks. At the time, we don't have a practice head available. We're kind of looking at options for that on either having an entire practice head or just coming out with a retention lock that is a little stronger and won't actually deploy for practice only. So yep, they come in a 3-pack, factory direct, and at the moment a 100 grain.
So with the head itself, what are we looking at, Matt? You can change the retention clip and you can change out the blades. Is that correct? So that's basically the only parts inside that you would, if you needed to, you could change it. Basically, you're shooting a brand new broadhead.
Yep, that's it. We offer replacement blades and the clips. We offer each pack comes with 3 extra clips, as I mentioned there, and we also sell 9-packs. They're used for designed to be used one time, and after that they got to be replaced. So. Gotcha.
Yeah, I know some of the photos I've seen, it looks like, you guys get really good blood trails and some really great entry and exit holes. But overall, Matt, what have you kind of figured out as far as testing speed-wise and, yardage-wise? I'm sure you've gone through all those paces of doing field work with it, but do you have a golden rule that you're safe to shoot these at 100 yards, shoot as your field tip, or what do you say to everybody when you get asked those questions?
So, yeah, we did a lot of testing. We wanted it to obviously fly just like a field point, and, with expandables, you don't have a huge issue with having to tune your broadheads or them, flying funny or anything like that, but they do fly really well. We in testing, we shot them out of actually it was a Raven, I forget which model, but it was 430 feet per second, and we were shooting them up to 100 yards, driving right in the bullseye, same as a field point. And so we've had some questions. There's people out there with crossbows, I believe, shooting like 460, and they want us to kind of put them through the ringers on that and come up with some videos and stuff. So we're working on something like that for advertising to make people a little more confident at those speeds. Personally, having designed it, having shot it, I have no issues with any kind of premature deployment out of those speeds because I know what's behind it and what it takes to open, and but I can understand coming from a consumer standpoint, wanting to see that and also having confidence that it does fly like a field point, especially not offering a practice tip at this point.
Yeah, I think 2 things there. For one, proving it with a crossbow is huge because we know what kind of energy comes out of those crossbows and just crazy speeds. You're talking twice the speed of today's compound, basically. And, I think it's such a great way to kind of introduce and kind of just cement in people's mind, which I think is the selling point to your guys' broadhead, is that retention clip, that you're going to be able to shoot that thing at immense speeds and never have to worry about O-ring breaking, snapping off, rubber band dry rotting, all those issues you've taken away with that retention clip, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people are probably pretty skeptical about it, especially being a new company. Not a lot of people have them in their hands yet, and we're brand new to the market and everything. So, there's a lot of people not sure of the concept and, want to want to test it themselves or hear a really good review on it before they actually break down and buy a set. But we've had just really good luck with it, and I guess I kind of lost my train of thought there where I was going with that.
No, I was just talking about the retention, system, about how I believe that's going to be one of the main selling features is, it putting, some of those videos together that you're just saying, and I think that part of the videos is going to be huge, to people. That, to me, is what really sets your broadhead apart is, no O-rings, no rubber bands, and, kind of foolproof way to keep those blades, nice and tight inside that broadhead until it hits something.
For sure, and being a new company, it's kind of a little tricky, building people's trust in your broadhead and in your system and stuff. And it's not like this is just a big gimmick here or junk or anything. We really have tested the crap out of these things, and we trust them 100%. Over the past 2 years, we've had a lot of really good luck with them. And it's just the advertising is kind of the tricky part, and getting these in people's hands and getting some good reviews on them and stuff to where people can start to see that it is a good broadhead and it's worth putting in your quiver.
Yeah, for sure. And I think everybody has to know at this point, like, we've been really fortunate with the way the broadhead market has emerged the last couple, 3 to 4 years. There's a lot of different options right now, but with that being said, you had to really see something that needed improvement for you to come to the market and kind of battle all of that, as an independent guy. There's, like you said earlier in the podcast, there's some great ones and not so good ones, but, I just think that alone should give people a lot of faith in that head that, you were willing to say, like, there is a flaw out there and this head has fixed it. So I'm definitely, kind of excited to potentially shoot some this year and see what it can do because, in my mind and studying different broadheads, and I love gear and I'm kind of like a tech guy, it seems like the concept should work flawlessly. And, I just think it's unique. And like I said, I don't know what made you, Matt, kind of like want to face all that, because I know the broadhead market is so stiff, but that it must have taken a kind of lot of courage, a big set of balls, so to speak, to get in that field and do it.
Well, that's just, like I said earlier, we're big bow hunters. That's pretty much what we live to do. We travel all over the country in the fall hunting whitetails. That's our number one hobby. And we've got a lot of friends bow hunt too, and we've just heard a lot of the different complaints and different issues people were having with expandable broadheads. And it seems like for a while there, a lot of people kind of lost trust in expandables because, there's some good ones out there, but, maybe somebody had a bad experience with it. And maybe it wasn't even the broadhead's fault, but they get on the internet and start bashing, this broadhead, it didn't open, or this happened, whatever, who knows the story. But, broadheads have kind of lost, or expandables have kind of lost that trust amongst a lot of bow hunters. And we wanted to kind of rebuild that and, fix some of the flaws that we had heard from people and we've experienced ourselves too. And we just wanted something that was really simple, something that it just worked. It didn't, necessarily look the coolest on the market, but it just straight up worked. And that's what we went for. And I think we accomplished everything we were going for.
Yeah, for sure. I believe that wholeheartedly. And, another thing that I think is really big too is that you guys really kind of advertise like it's all American made right here in the USA. I assume most of it's made in Michigan, Matt, but how have you been able to manage all that to kind of keep it here in the States?
It's been a little difficult for sure. Overseas manufacturing rates are quite a bit cheaper. We wanted to keep it here number one just because we can really keep an eye on the quality control aspect of it. And some of our stuff's made right here local. And even the blades, as of now, we are grinding in-house. We've done quite a few of those, and that's kind of the biggest issue we're having is getting our blades made. I do want to keep everything in the States, but there are very limited manufacturers that are able to efficiently make blades here on stateside. So we're kind of looking at some other options for the blades, but we do want to keep every other part made right here locally in the Midwest moving forward. And hopefully we can work something out where we can keep the blades on the mainland as well. But I know there's a German manufacturer that's pumping out a lot of the blades for some of the big broadhead companies out there. So that might be an option we have to look at in the future, just from a business standpoint, I guess, to keep this thing going forward.
Yeah, and I wouldn't blame you for that. And for people that don't know, I mean, Germany's really known for blades. I mean, for all types of different blades. They seem to be the number one place in the world to get a lot of those sharp, shiny objects done. So, I mean, that is what you got to do to keep it moving. Especially, it sounds kind of like the rate you're moving at, Matt, where you'll be in retail soon. That I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and I don't blame you for that at all. And I wouldn't be mad at German blades at all.
Exactly. They've got a pretty good name over there, and they do have some really good quality, and that's one thing we do want to stress before we set down with any manufacturers, that they're able to hold our tolerances and our material quality, because we want to offer a premium broadhead. A lot of times these guys are going out hunting and they might only get one shot a year or every 2 years or 3 years, or who knows how long it could be, and to have failure with your equipment is unacceptable, and we know how it feels, and we don't want to jeopardize any of that and have anybody not trust our broadhead either. So we're definitely looking at some other options there, and we just want to maintain the American quality no matter where we go. And we still, at the end of the day, want to make sure that our broadheads are all assembled here, and we look over each and every one before we ship it out, because that's big to us, I guess.
Yeah, that's huge. Basically that's a double QC check, and you can't be mad at that either. It's nice to know that you guys are taking that initiative to keep it like that, because I know there's plenty of broadhead manufacturers out there that I guarantee aren't doing that. But Matt, one thing I thought was really cool is just your guys' name. Where did you kind of come up with REK Broadheads? I actually love the name because it's unique, it's different, and just slogan-wise, man, you got a lot of work to work with right there. That's a pretty cool concept name.
Yeah, that I really don't have a super good answer for that question. I get asked it a lot, so I should probably figure out
come up with a
better reason for it. But
yeah,
I guess it just kind of popped in my head one night. Like, you're shooting a broadhead. What do you want it to do? You want it to like wreck the animal you're shooting, And I figured we'd spell it this way. It's shorter, REK, and just we're gonna build our marketing pitch around that, I guess. So we've got kind of some cool ideas we want to work on the marketing side here in the future too. But it's just something short and simple, and just seemed to fit the picture. It just, I don't know, popped in my head one night, and we're going to name them TAG Broadheads, because our last name is Tagget, and we wanted a TAG. And there's another company out there who's got the trademark specifically on tag, so we weren't able to go down that route. But I don't know. I just think it stands out, and kind of a cool name.
Yeah, it definitely stands out, and a very cool name. And that's funny about the tag that was already trademarked somewhere. That's crazy. But yeah, definitely unique. And what do you think is on the horizon for REK Broadheads in 2020 and beyond? Or do you guys have? I know you're, obviously busy time of year for you guys, just trying to even get going. But have you already thought of the future?
Absolutely, yeah. That's we want to keep moving forward. We don't want to just settle with one broadhead and say, we've got a good broadhead and that's it. We want to keep pushing forward. We're looking at moving to retail. Hopefully that'll really help to get our name out there. And then we're going to offer a 125 grain option. We're currently working on a fixed head, and we're also looking in the future maybe like a hyper cut. I mean, some people want a cut over 2 inch, so we're kind of looking at that. That might be a little more than a year out, but we do want to have a fixed head for next year, and we want to have a 125 grain option for next year. And we just want to keep pushing forward and seeing where we can take this thing. We want to be a top player, and I guess we'll see how long it takes to get there.
Yeah, for sure. So, Matt, one thing I don't think we kind of really covered, but maybe we mentioned 100 grains, but kind of give us the specs all around on the broadhead before we jump off here today.
So it's 100 grain. It has a hardened stainless steel tip. It has 39 thousandths thick 420 stainless steel blades. It's got a aluminum ferrule, and then the spring lock retention clip is of spring steel, and it has a 1.85 inch cutting diameter. In this model is a 2-blade.
So with the future head that you're talking about going a bigger cutting with, would that be 125 grains, or are you going to try to stick with 100 or offer both?
At this time, we're going to try to offer both. We're going to have to make a few little changes there to cut some weight, obviously having a larger blade on there, but I think we're able to hold that, 125 and 100.
So with that being said, Matt, we can find you direct to consumer online, but go ahead and fill everybody in where the website is and where everybody can order and find you guys on social media.
You guys can find us. Our website is at www.rekbroadheads.com, and that's spelled REK. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube under REK_Broadheads. And yeah, so that's what we got going on for social media, and as of now, just available on our website. So
awesome. I feel like you guys have done a great job kind of exploding onto the scene, Matt, and I wish you all the best. And you got a super tough-looking broadhead, and can't wait to see more from you guys at REK Broadheads.
Well, we really appreciate you having us on, and hopefully we can get you to wreck an animal this fall with one.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely look forward to hopefully you wreck one too, and we'll have you back on the show this fall, and we'll definitely chat some hunting stories as well.
Right on. Sounds great.
All right. Thanks, Matt.